The largest living organism on Earth isn't a whale. It isn't a giant tree. Most of it is hidden underground. And if you started walking across it, you could hike for hours and still be standing on the same living thing. Because some of the most extraordinary things in nature aren't the things we see. They're the systems quietly operating beneath our feet. That's part of the living world unseen. We're going to uncover one of the most astonishing examples. To get there, we have to climb through a few surprising contenders for the title of the largest living organism on Earth. Each one seems impossibly large, but with every step, the answer gets stranger. Our first contender is the largest animal that has ever lived, the blue whale. These animals can reach nearly 30 meters long and weigh up to 20 tons, larger than any dinosaur that ever walked the earth. Their scale is hard to imagine. A blue whale's tongue alone can weigh as much as an elephant. Its heart is roughly the size of a small car. But even something this enormous reveals an important limitation. Animals are constrained by their bodies. Bones must support weight. Blood must circulate. Muscles must move mass. Eventually, gravity wins. Bodies simply cannot grow forever. Which means the largest living organism on Earth can't be an animal at all. Plants, on the other hand, solve the problem of size differently. They don't need to move. They don't rely on muscles. Instead, they grow slowly, adding new layers year after year. This allows them to reach astonishing sizes. In California's Sierra Nevada mountains, we find the second contender to the title, the largest single tree on Earth. A giant sequoia known as General Sherman. This tree rises about 84 meters tall. Its trunk is so massive that dozens of people could stand around it holding hands. The amount of wood in this one tree is staggering. Its bark can be nearly a meter thick, helping protect it from forest fires. And some giant sequoias have lived for more than 3,000 years. That means some of these trees were already ancient when the Roman Empire was young. For a long time, trees like this seemed like the obvious answer to the question of the largest living organism. But even the biggest tree is still one towering body rising from a single trunk. The next contender spreads across the landscape in a very different way. In the mountains of Utah, there is a forest of quaking aspen trees known as Pando. At first glance, it looks like thousands of individual trees. But genetically, they are identical. Every tree is connected underground to the same root system. Instead of growing one massive trunk like a sequoia, this organism spreads sideways through the soil. New stems rise from the same shared roots. Old trunks die, and new ones grow in their place. From above, it looks like a forest, but it's all just one enormous organism. Pando covers more than 40 hectares. That's roughly the size of about 80 football fields. Some scientists estimate the organism may be more than 10,000 years old. Long before many civilizations existed, this organism was already spreading quietly across the mountains. For many years, scientists believed this might actually be the largest living organism on Earth. And if you thought the same thing, you wouldn't be alone. But even this enormous forest isn't the real answer. because the final contender doesn't even look like a forest. In fact, it barely looks like an organism at all. It was discovered beneath a forest in eastern Oregon. In a place called Malheur National Forest, scientists studying dying trees noticed something strange. The same fungus kept appearing again and again. At first, that didn't seem unusual. But when researchers began testing the DNA of the fungus across different parts of the forest, they discovered something astonishing. Samples taken kilometers apart were genetically identical. They weren't separate fungi. They were all part of the same organism. The organism is a type of honey fungus, but scientists studying it gave it a much more memorable nickname. They call it the Humongous Fungus. And the name is not an exaggeration. This single organism spreads across more than 9 square kilometers of forest. That's larger than many cities. If you started hiking at one edge, you could walk for hours and still be standing on the same living organism. By mass, scientists estimate it could weigh as much as hundreds of blue whales combined. But unlike animals or trees, it doesn't exist as one massive body. Instead, it grows a vast underground network of microscopic threads called mycelium. Occasionally, it produces mushrooms above the ground. But those mushrooms are just the visible tips of the same enormous organism. Each thread is thinner than a human hair, but together they weave through soil, roots, and rock, forming an enormous living web beneath the forest floor. The fungus feeds mostly on wood. It spreads through tree roots, buried logs, and dead branches hidden in the soil. Using powerful enzymes, it slowly breaks down the tough wood that is so hard to digest. Without fungi like this, forests would slowly choke on their own dead trees. But this organism has another side. Sometimes it infects living trees. When that happens, it causes a disease known as root rot, which quietly spreads through the roots and slowly kills patches of forest. And when the trees finally die, the fungus changes roles. Instead of attacking the trees, it becomes a decomposer, breaking the wood apart and returning nutrients back to the soil, recycling the forest from the inside out. To spread, the fungus grows strange structures called rhizomorphs. They look like thin black shoelaces moving through the soil. These living cords allow the organism to travel from root to root, silently exploring the underground world and invading new trees. Over centuries, the network slowly pushes outward across the forest. Scientists estimate the Oregon organism may be somewhere between 2,000 and 8,000 years old, which means it has likely outlived countless generations of trees growing above it. Entire forests have come and gone, while the same organism remained hidden beneath them. That this may not even be the largest example. Researchers suspect that many similar fungal giants are probably hiding beneath forests around the world. We simply haven't mapped them yet. So, the largest living organism on Earth doesn't tower over landscapes. It doesn't swim through oceans. It spreads quietly underground. Right now, beneath forests, fields, and mountains around the world, enormous living networks are slowly expanding through the soil and shaping entire ecosystems in ways we rarely notice. And most of us will walk across them our entire lives without ever realizing they exist. Because some of the most extraordinary parts of life on Earth aren't the things we see. They're the hidden systems quietly operating beneath our feet. The living world unseen.